Yeah, so...
Wait, let me get hooked up.
Sit in here. Sit
And
on
I'm
in
not
here.
ready. We should really just upgrade our setup. Let's rearrange this someday soon.
We should.
So then we don't have to walk away from over there. It's doable.
It is. It really is. We could put it like here.
You know how every once in a while you just want to rearrange your room?
Oh,
Get the feng shui right?
Yeah.
I'm feeling that for in here.
I like it. I think it's a great idea.
Don't you? I only have great ideas.
Honestly, that's what I appreciate about you.
Thanks.
God damn!
Hey, anyway, you want to get back to both of our goddams, I'm sure?
Yeah, so number one, right off the bat, hey guys, we're safe.
Yeah, we're in San Diego,
so. We're safe from the
until
wildfires.
that bitch catches on fire, then start getting worried about us.
Yeah, but a couple people reached out, and so,
I know.
California is pretty big. LA, they're still 2 hours up.
I saw a TikTok that was like, these fires would be like in different states or whatever.
Yeah.
Like these cities would be like in a different state if you were at any other part in the country.
It burned a whole state.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, these LA fires, in case you don't know.
Yeah, in case you haven't caught on to what we're talking about yet.
The hills of LA are burning.
Yeah, they sure fucking are. Oh my God.
That's
the devastation is
fucking
insane.
Crazy. It's all so much.
Oh my God.
Because it's a lot of rich people's homes, so people are like, fuck that, we don't care. And, I get it, but also, not everybody was rich. Some people, that's, all their money just burned to the ground.
Yeah, literally.
And as a fellow person living in a very expensive city that is not rich, but,
but would
don't
be
want
one of
that
the people-
label.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're in Tennessee and you're like, fuck them, they're rich, it might not be true.
No.
It's true for, the, obviously the celebrities and shit.
Yeah, but even
fuck.
still, imagine building your whole career and everything. I've seen Whitney Cummings on TikTok or
I
whatever, and
know.
she's crying because her house is possibly going to burn down, and everyone is like, oh my God, you're so entitled, blah blah blah, and I'm like,
That's a valid.
That's still her whole.
That's your
fucking,
home.
her whole career and everything that she has built,
Right.
is there.
Now, if that's your side home, and I have a
Right.
little pad and
right.
I was gonna say Malibu, but it feels
It is
so
Malibu. Malibu
distant.
burned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, in Malibu. Or
Yeah.
Maui.
Oh,
Anyway.
the other one. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's so fucking sad. There is so much going. I don't know.
It's still going. We're recording this on Saturday, whatever.
Yeah.
It's still burning. All of it's on fire.
Yeah, it's still all on
actively.
fire. I think it was 8% contained this morning when I checked.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I know. And then you stack on top of all the politics that's coming out of it, and you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah. Well, it's everybody's after the last fires when their houses burned down and stuff, it would take them a year just to get a permit to clean up the lot.
Oh,
so then
y'all.
they couldn't even rebuild on their
what a
land.
great segue, because part of it all too, in case you guys don't know, because I don't know how widespread this knowledge would be if you don't live in the area, but all of the main insurance agencies recently canceled a lot of our fire insurance. You can't get it. You have to go through some state-funded thing, Cal
Which is
Fire,
super
something or
expensive,
other.
yeah.
And people can't afford it.
So they did come out and say that anyone that was canceled within 90 days before.
That's not far enough.
But for those people who all got canceled in December.
Yeah,
it is.
that's great. But
You
what
know?
about the people my mom got canceled a year ago?
Oh God.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And we got grandfathered in, but I don't know how long that's gonna last.
Yeah.
And we got fucking skin of our teeth grandfathered in.
Same, and
Yeah.
we're on a fucking
I know.
fire break
Yeah.
or whatever area.
It's crazy. So, again, we won't go off the cuff
Yeah.
and get too politicky, because there's all kinds of theories possible arson, fucking drone lasers, all kinds of
I don't know about drone
Transformers, who knows?
lasers, but the arson thing is looking pretty
Dude,
accurate. I
honestly,
don't know.
the moment the Palisades fire popped up, I sent you a fucking text just so I could mark it, and I was like, I don't want to sound crazy, but we all know I already am, and I'm calling it. This shit was set on purpose.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. But it's fucking gnarly out here. And then the Santa Ana winds are blowing, which aren't that bad, but then, they're tough, but then you add fucking fire, tornado, force winds, and all of that, and it just turns into...
Yeah.
literally apocalyptic.
It is quite apocalyptic. Yeah.
It
right
will be
now.
post soon.
It will be post soon. Yeah. Jesus.
Anyway, so if you ever wanted to go to Hollywood or LA or whatever, it
Go
looked
now.
different. I don't know. Maybe go now and grab some fucking water.
Yeah, geez, bring water tankers. You see, like, Canada came, Mexico came, everybody's
Girl.
coming at us.
And then there's a whole thing about the water where allegedly LA would be fucking flourishing in water if the water wasn't diverted or some shit. I don't know. Anyway, so is that our both combined goddams?
Yeah,
It's
for
just
sure.
that fucking old California's on
burning down.
fire.
Yeah, it's rough out here.
I know. But thanks for checking in on us, guys. And stay safe out there. It's fucking wild.
Fires.
Hotness. Okay, enough sad talk. Let's talk about murder.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
speaking
change
of,
the subject.
let's change the subject to something happier. Murder of a child. Trigger warning.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so if you don't like that shit, step away now. And it's like a 10-year-old kid. Sometimes if you give age ranges, you know, it's like, well, my kid's a baby. I can handle 10 or something, you know?
God.
Or like if it's a baby and you know you're not going to have kids and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I can handle this
That's
one.
fine.
Anyway, so heads up, I don't usually do children ones, but I got I saw a keyword and I was like, oh God,
All right.
we're going to read that one. This week, I'm going to tell you about Sara Sharif.
Sharif. Okay.
Actually, I think her case has been in the news lately. Sara Sharif, she was born January 11th, 2013 in Slough, Berkshire, which is located in England, 20 miles west of London.
Mm-hmm.
Her father, Urfan, worked as a taxi driver after he had moved to the UK in 2001 from Pakistan.
Okay.
Her mother, Olga, was from Poland and was diagnosed with learning disabilities and was considered a, quote, vulnerable person.
Oh.
So I'm guessing, like, you know, easy to take advantage of
Yeah.
is what that statement was trying to get at.
Learning disabilities? Yeah.
I was like, what kind? Because don't we all, you know?
I mean, everyone's is different.
Yeah. Yeah. Just swap them out and trade them. Jumping back a little bit, in 2009, Urfan and Olga had been married, and then in 2010, they welcomed their first child, which was a baby boy. Only a year into the marriage, Urfan was arrested on charges of domestic violence.
Ooh, can't do that.
Allegedly, he had taken a belt and tightened it around Olga's neck,
Oh my God.
and then he had, like, locked her in a room without her phone. I don't know if those are two separate events or the same one or
Yeah.
what, but
Either way,
not a good look.
both bad things to do.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
She also claimed that he had once tried to set her on fire
Oh God.
and had, like, poured oil or some shit on her. And I don't know if he had ignited her or was going to or whatever, but allegedly Olga's cousin jumped in and stopped him from, like,
Oh my God.
yeah, hurting her
Ugh.
too bad. So,
A cousin jumped in?
cousin.
That means you're doing that in front of other people.
Oh,
That's
just so you
fucking
know,
crazy.
this whole story of abuse is not new to the family. They're all aware of it.
Mhm.
They all know that Urfan is just
He's got a bit
an
of a temper.
abusive man. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Like nobody is shocked
Okay.
by the news. Okay. In 2013, Sarah was born, and by 2015, Olga had filed for divorce from Urfan
Okay. Good for her.
because shit was not good. Yeah.
Yeah. She was like, you know what? I don't need to be set on fire.
You know what I don't appreciate? This fucking oil, you know?
Mm-mm.
Uh-uh.
A belt around my neck. No,
Being
thank
fucking
you.
locked in my room without my goddamn phone.
Hard pass. You got
Mhm.
to go, sir.
Exactly.
Good for her.
Mm-hmm. The children lived with Olga until 2019 when custody of the children was awarded to Urfan. I don't know what triggered it. I think it was like alleged abuse by Olga, I'm guessing, on the side of Urfan. Like he was probably trying to get custody back of his children and he was
Yeah.
like, she abuses them. I'm guessing. I didn't look into it. I don't really know.
Oh
But
God.
whatever reason, the custody was awarded to Urfan. So then the children went over there, and
That's
Olga.
not good.
I know Olga was not allowed access to her children after that.
That's so sad.
It's really sad. So after Urfan received custody of the children, he moved to Horsell Walking,
Okay.
like a wok pan, like are you cooking,
Like walking.
woking, maybe I don't know, woking. I don't know. Whatever. I should have looked into it. I'm sorry, but somewhere else in fucking England, it was 30 minutes from Slough.
Okay.
So 30 minutes away. After his divorce, Urfan ends up marrying another woman by the name of Beinash.
Okay.
And she had children of her own. So now the family all lives together with, like, I think it was 5 children total or something like that. Maybe it was 6 total, including Sarah. But a fuck ton of children. Urfan, Beinash, and Urfan's brother,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, was also living with him.
Okay.
So it's a whole shit pot full of people in a relatively small house for the amount of people you are considering, right?
Yeah. 3 adults and like fucking 6 kids. That's a
Yeah,
lot of people.
That's a lot of fun.
It's
For
a lot of
any
people in
house.
any house. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't really
Could you
matter how
imagine?
many bedrooms you have. You need to have at least like 5.
You need
At least.
elevators. Ugh, I don't know. Okay, so obviously not all was well in the Urfan household, as you can imagine, based on his past claims of abuse.
Yeah.
Like I said, Olga had little to no contact with her children, and Urfan was raising them Muslim, and Olga had objected to that
Yeah.
for whatever reason. But he was like, fuck you too, bitch, call the cops. This is my life. These are my kids. I'm going to do what I want.
Also fair, but...
Well, I guess, according to the courts. But
Well, I
poor
mean, if
Olga.
they're living with him, he
Yeah.
kind of gets to decide what they...
What world they live in.
Yeah.
By 2023, Sarah was 10 years old, and she was attending just like, I don't know if it was public school or whatever, but attending school.
Okay.
And she would show up with different injuries on a regular basis.
Uh-oh.
On June of 2022, so jumping back a little bit, a couple months, Sarah had showed up to school with a bruise under her left eye.
Mm-hmm.
And again, in March of 2023, she had bruising on her chin and a dark mark on one of her eyes.
Oh, that's
Okay, so
sad.
she's showing up to school with like bruises on her face over the span of like months to years.
Okay.
Like 2 years, I think is what I saw somewhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, in January of 2023, she started wearing a hijab so that she could hide her face bruising.
Mm.
And that's really sad.
Yeah.
I guess her teachers kind of took notice, though, because they would ask her about her injuries, like, how did you get that bruise on your eye, or what happened to your chin, or whatever. And she would give random excuses all the time, and then her stories would be conflicting to what she would tell others.
Mm-hmm.
So the school started to catch on that there was likely abuse going on in her household. So they contacted social services and referred them to go check out Sarah. Social services did launch an investigation, but I guess the agency took no action or something like that from whatever came from that. Nobody ever came and plucked her out or saved her.
Yeah. Oh.
Fucking real sad. And that's going to be a highlight in this case because everybody's real mad
Yeah.
about that part.
Well, yeah, she got let down.
Exactly.
Or
Well,
like-
allegedly too, they're investigating how she slipped through the cracks
Yeah.
at this moment. Like, this is where we're at and everything. But I'm gonna go ahead out on a limb here and say that I doubt we'll ever hear back on that because this happens every time in a case of child abuse. And when they slip through the cracks and they're like, never again, no child left behind, we're never gonna let this happen again, and then it keeps happening.
Right.
So take that with a grain of salt, I suppose, which is sad to say, but who knows? Maybe something will happen. I'm not really sure whatever came of that, but in April of 2023, Urfan pulled Sarah from school and claimed that he was going to homeschool her.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Now,
right in the
obviously,
middle of a social
Right.
worker investigation.
Right.
That doesn't seem...
exactly. Well, that's why he pulled her from school. Was
Yeah.
like, oh, they're catching on. You're going to be homeschooled now.
Yeah.
That should not have been okay either.
No.
I know. So a neighbor claimed that you could often hear shouting and high-pitched screaming from the household and like heavy hitting.
Oh, God.
I know. I'm like, why didn't the fucking neighbors call too? But also, I have to admit, when I was younger, I grew up across the street from a house of abuse. I mean,
Yeah.
I was in a trailer park, so you can hear everything through those.
Yeah.
But the smacking, the hitting, the screaming, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Anyway, one neighbor did eventually go knocking on the door to like make sure everything's okay. And when they
Nope, I would not do that. I
I
would call the
know.
cops before I ever knocked on your fucking door.
right? Fuck, man.
Hey, I
they're not-
noticed you're having a hard time parenting. That's where your approach is?
I'm sure it's like, hey, man, is everything okay? I heard high-pitched screaming. Just checking. I don't know. Maybe the first time they heard it or something before they realized it was like a trend.
Yeah, but you gotta, I don't know, man.
Yeah, but you're not a doer, you know?
No, but you also realize what's happening. I would call the cops before I ever went over there.
If right now...
Unless they were like, help, get out of my house.
That's what I was going to say. If right now I heard a little kid screaming help across the street...
Yeah, but kids don't scream help from their parents. Because nobody's going to help them but their parents.
Maybe. I don't know.
Kids scream things like, ah,
Don't hit me.
yeah, and no, stop, I'm sorry.
I don't know. I probably would knock on a door. Depending. But you're right. I'd probably call the cops first. If I knew what it was, if I knew it was like a parent abusing, I'd probably call the cops and be like, hey, this is what's going on. But I'm assuming in my world, not knowing why they just need help. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm here. Do you want me to call 911? Knocking on the door. Like, do you need somebody to call 911?
Like
And
you guys are having a fight or
Yeah.
something is happening. Are
Like,
you okay?
is there somebody attacking you in your home?
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
although I might not do that even. If I heard gunshots, I'd be like, we're cool over here. I'll call the cops.
Sounds like a cop problem. Again, I'm not going to go knock on the door.
I don't know. But I also grew up in a household where my dad would shoot up off the couch and run to like the front porch and be like, somebody's screaming for help. Like, we're going to go help them.
Well, yeah, like if they're outside in the street or something, but
It would have been just probably the neighbor across the street screaming or something. I don't know.
if they're screaming for help, I would go help.
Yeah.
But nobody screams for help when you're being abused by your partner or your parent. Maybe your partner, but not your parent.
I don't know. I don't know that to be true.
I feel like
I would scream for help in any scenario.
if your parents were like, bang, bang, bang,
I don't know.
you wouldn't scream help.
I'm not saying the words help were screamed. I don't know why you're on this hill trying to die on it. I'm just saying the neighbor fucking knocked on the door and I can
I'm
see
just
it
saying,
plausible.
call the fucking cops. Don't go bothering your neighbors when they're having a domestic dispute.
Honestly,
It's
that might
not
be-
your place.
That might be fair advice. I'm sorry that I struck a chord, and now I feel embarrassed for having a stance on this point, and I don't know why. So I'm going to move on. But anyway, the neighbor knocked on the door, and what had happened was they were like, is everything okay? And they shut the door in her face. And they were like, no, I don't know what that would mean. To me, I'd be like, call the fucking cops.
Yeah.
But nobody called the cops. Again,
She was like, guess they're fine.
chick was failed, right? So, in the early morning hours of August 10th, 2003, the police were called to Urfan's home. And when the police arrived at the home, no one was there to answer the door. So, as they gained entry to the house, they checked all of the rooms. And in one of the rooms, they found the remains of Sarah. And she was covered with her blanket in a bunk bed.
Oh, God.
Next to Sarah's body, now I heard next to her body and also under a pillow next to her body, but either which way, there was a note, and it was in her father's handwriting. And that note said, whoever sees this note, it's me, Urfan Sharif, who killed my daughter by beating. There were 3 pages to it. I read it all. It's basically just saying, like, I killed her by beating. I promised to come back. I got scared. I didn't mean to.
Holy shit.
I'm going to call the police and let you know that everything's here, and I'll be back before you even finish the autopsy on her. Like, but he got scared and ran away, is what his note says, okay? Now, it turns out that the day prior, on August 9th, 2023, Urfan, Beinash, and Urfan's brother had fled the country to Pakistan. So
He's not coming back.
Kill Sarah flees to Pakistan.
Yeah.
Once they arrived, and after they had landed, or obviously, I don't know why I said that. We're here. You're still in the air. Okay, technically.
Well, now we're here.
Can't do anything about it, though.
Once they drove to wherever it was that they were going.
Exactly. Once they were home, Urfan reached out, made a call to 999, which I don't know how you do that from Pakistan. I got so hung up on this when I was researching.
What are the logistics here?
I didn't look it up, but I'm like, if I were in another country.
Could you call 911?
I don't know. Yeah. Is there an extension for the country?
Interesting. I don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah.
And like, if it were my cell phone,
what's the emergency line in Pakistan?
I don't fucking know.
Maybe
Like,
it's
can you
also
patch me
999?
into London's 999? I don't know how he did it, but anyway. So he did. He calls the police, or 999, and there's like an 8-minute recording of him calling them, and he basically said, I've killed my daughter. It wasn't my intention to kill her, but I beat her up too much, and she died.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And this is why the police went to go check the house, right? This is what
they got the
prompted
phone
them.
call?
Yeah, after
Okay.
Urfan called them is why they went to his house, and that's how they found Sarah.
Okay.
As the police start to process the scene, they discover a bloodstained cricket bat, a rolling pin.
A cricket bat?
A cricket bat. Bitch, those things are huge. They're fat.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, and there's just such a big difference between, like, I don't know, fucking blunt force trauma and a fist, you know? Like,
I know.
it's a baseball bat,
It's a 10-year-old.
essentially.
It's a 10-year-old little girl.
Oh, that's so horrible.
Yeah. Bloodstained cricket bat, a rolling pin, which would later test positive of having Sarah's DNA on it, but I don't know if that means blood or if she just baked fucking cookies. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to go ahead and assume they think it could be used for blunt force trauma.
I don't think they were baking cookies right
No, I don't
before
think so
this.
either. No. A metal pole, a belt, and some rope that were some of interest to
A
them.
metal pole?
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
And these things were found all around by the family's outhouse. Now, I don't know. In London, is this like a terminology thing? Like, is the outhouse like a bathroom or is it like your shed? I don't know.
Because, like, are they in the city in London, or is this like a rural
It's
area?
like 30 minutes outside.
Because this is
23.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I was like, it must mean like their shed or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just one of those
Like,
outhouses.
Outdoor storing houses. Yeah.
It's like an ADU.
Where I'm like, that's where you shit? I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just have a detached bathroom. Who knows? Somebody will let us know. But either which way, that's where all this shit was.
Okay.
Also, it made me think you wouldn't store that in an outhouse. Like, that's, unless you're hiding it, maybe.
Did they find it in the outhouse?
Or buy it? It said buy it.
Yeah.
I don't know the details.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they do an autopsy.
Okay.
And they discover that Sara had very extensive injuries that spanned over a very long period of time. She had 70 injuries counted, and they ranged from injuries to her ribs, shoulder blades, and fingers. She had 11 fractures on her spine, a puncture wound on her head.
Puncture?
I don't know. Traumatic brain injury.
Yeah.
Burns on her bottom caused by a clothing iron.
What? An iron is fucking horrifying.
I know, and it was being used as a way to punish her.
That's so, I don't know, like sadistic?
Oh,
Messed
100%.
up?
Yep. This whole thing is sadistic.
Ugh.
They found burns on her body that were caused by hot water
Oh.
and wounds caused by restraints and tons of bruising all over her body, along with 6 human bite marks.
Bite marks?
Yeah. This little girl was tortured.
Who was biting her?
Oh, well, you'll find out.
Oh, well, there's fucking teeth and brushes.
Exactly. Her cause of death was labeled as, quote, complications arising from multiple injuries and neglect. Like, not one thing killed her,
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. Well, fucking a brain injury.
Yeah.
In court, a pediatric radiologist stated that Sara had neck injuries that were caused by Emanual Jesus Christ. Emanual! Sorry.
That one really got me. Sorry.
I'm for it. Oh, God. In court, a pediatric radiologist stated that Sara had neck injuries that were caused by Emanual strangulation with a force that suggested hanging. And that her hyoid bone had been fractured. I guess I didn't list it later. I fucking tucked it up here in this note.
Right
part of the
now.
note. It's like at the end of my blob.
Good thing we're talking about it.
Exactly. Her hyoid bone had been fractured, but that had not caused her death.
Yeah.
So
That's the bone that breaks when you're getting strangled.
exactly. So they're suggesting here that the strength was so intense that, and in such a manner that it likely wasn't manual by the hand, but instead by a hanging. And so I was thinking, like, Jesus Christ, did he hang his 10-year-old as like torture and punishment? And then I remembered, well, he was allegedly putting the belt around Olga's throat. So what if he put the belt around Sarah's throat and was like yanking her almost like a
pulling.
dog,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh,
and that would
God.
give you those similar injuries to like being
Yeah.
more forceful than just being choked with hands, but yanked by like a belt. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
my little spin on it. But
Oh, God.
But she-
hate the
yeah.
idea of that, though.
could you imagine? 10.
No.
10.
That's a baby.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? You are a grown man, you little fucking pussy. Police officers stated that Sarah's murder was one of the most difficult and distressing cases they had ever seen.
No.
And Sarah was only 10, like I said. On September 12, 2023, the police raided Urfan's house, his father's house, in Pakistan, and found Urfan, Beinash, and Urfan's brother, along with all of the other children in their care. And although the children were found to be in good condition, they were still put in the care of a local relative while they
Good.
determine, like, where they should go. Because they're like, these three, this trio, not a good crew.
Probably shouldn't have kids.
Exactly. After they found Sarah, they immediately had like a bolo for all 3 of the adults in the house because the
Yeah.
house was so small that they're like, even if Urfan is admitting to this, those other 2 are guilty because they allowed this to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why that's why
And they all ran.
they all ran to Pakistan. I mean, I don't know how hard it was to find them. It must have not been that hard because this happened at like the beginning of like a month later. They had been
Yeah.
arrested in Pakistan. So they put the children in other care. All of the adults were flown back to London, where on September 13th, 2023, all 3 of them were arrested at the Gatwick Airport in London after they had landed.
Okay.
So that sounds like they planned that shit out, right?
Yeah.
On September 14th, they were all charged with murder, which they all pled not guilty to. And Urfan immediately was like, oh, hey, that note and that phone call that I made where, like, I admitted all of my guilt, all of those were fake. I made it up that I killed Sara.
What?
It was actually Beinash who killed her. I was just trying to protect Beinash, so, like, I took the fall, but really it was her.
Oh, my God.
But I'm like, that doesn't make sense. You're literally immediately ratting her out the moment you're in custody.
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
Well,
Like, if you wanted to take the fall, I admitted guilt because I didn't want anything bad to happen to Beinash, but, like, the moment you're arrested,
you're
supposed to continue to fall on the sword, right?
Right.
This is the most important time to fall on the sword.
If that was your intention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he said that on August 9th, 2023, he had come home to find Beinash on the floor holding a limp Sara. He says that Beinash then said that Sara had just fallen down the stairs while she was playing with one of the other children and that she was fine and she was just being dramatic. Like, she was faking it. And so Urfan told Sara to get up and took her by the arm, but she was still limp, right? And instead of being like, I think something's really wrong with Sara at this point in the story, Urfan decides to take that metal pole that I mentioned that they found and whack her in the stomach with it repeatedly as a form of punishment for pretending to be hurt.
Oh, my God.
What the fuck? And he beat her so bad it killed her. And then he proceeded to perform CPR on her because he didn't intend to kill her. Like, oops, guess she wasn't faking.
Oh, my God.
And he says he performed CPR on her for 10 minutes until Beinash told him to stop. And then he asked Beinash, like, where are the ambulance? Like, why aren't they here yet? How far out are they? And she said that there was no need for an ambulance because Sara was already dead. He said that he then,
This doesn't really play into his personality, from what we learned before.
No, you're so smart, though.
You know?
He said that they then, staged Sara, whatever, however they were found, flew to Pakistan, and an hour and a half after landing, he called 999 and told the operator that he killed her and that he had, quote, legally punished her and just took it too far. Whatever, all that stuff in the
feels like it's not legally punishing someone.
I
if
was
you
like,
take it too far, then
what does legally punish mean? Like, you're not to uphold the law. You're just a citizen. Like, I don't know what that means.
Legally punish. Like, I wasn't doing anything illegal. Like, I was just
all
spanking
legal.
my kid.
Maybe
or whatever.
legal punishment is a thing in the UK. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway, so he was like, I legally punished her, and then she died. My bad. He admitted on the call to have beaten her because she was being naughty, and that basically he didn't mean to kill her. He just beat her up too much.
Yeah.
He later admitted guilt and accepted full responsibility for killing Sara, and he said that he had throttled her with his hands and battered her with a cricket bat and other objects, and he called himself, quote, the worst parent on the planet. So he eventually did get there,
Yeah.
Beinash, on the other hand, maintained her innocence the whole time. Like, the whole time he was ratting her out, she was like, no.
None of that shit was me.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, Urfan provided those bite mark impressions to be compared to Sara's wound marks, and they were not a match. Yeah. But Beinash refused to provide bite mark impressions. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that they both were participating in abuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were...
Well, she's also
they
the
were
daughter...
adult bite marks. They weren't like the other children in the house.
Yeah.
What? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, she's like the daughter of the ex-wife.
Yeah, that's her stepmom. She's like the evil stepmom.
Yeah, exactly.
This poor little Sara.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Prosecutors claim that Sara's abuse was so normalized throughout the family that no one would ever even bat an eye.
That's fucking sad.
It's awful.
When the
so
other
they were
kids all just go with it.
I know. Well, they might have been being abused too. We don't know.
Yeah.
They were found in Pakistan without abuses, but he
They
just
saw
killed
it.
somebody.
Yeah.
He's probably like, I should lay off the whacking for a minute.
Yeah. Like, I was
God.
way stronger back there.
Yeah, a little too much. Didn't know my own strength. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Sara would show up to family barbecues and stuff covered in bruises and injuries and everything, and nobody ever questioned it. They were just like, yeah, Urfan beat Sara, I guess. for whatever fucking reason.
And that's normal.
And then whenever they would go out in public, the parents would make Sara wear the hijab to cover up everything. So that's the reason she started showing up with it at school. It wasn't like she was embarrassed. It was that she was being forced to.
Yeah, because other people were noticing their abuses.
Yeah, exactly. Sara was described as feisty and dreamed of being a fairy tale princess.
Aww.
Poor Olga described Sara as having an angelic voice with beautiful brown eyes and a unique personality. She says that Sara's smile could light up the darkest room and that her daughter will always be in her heart, and she missed her so, so much. And I was going to say that Olga had mentioned in, like, I don't know if this was, like, in her victim's impactment statement or what, or if she just said this to, like, fucking reporters or whatever, but she had said that she was hoping that someday when Sara was older that they could reunite again because Urfan was keeping them apart.
Yeah.
And now that she knows that'll never be, that she just is excited to meet her in heaven. Like, she knows that she has an angel over her and they'll meet again in heaven. And I'm like, that is so heartbreaking that she had already lost her daughter before she really lost her daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
true.
exactly, Olga explained Urfan as sadistic and that those three are horrible, awful people, whatever, right?
Ugh.
My God. Could you imagine escaping your abuser and then losing your children to him?
To him? Yeah, that's fucking horrible.
Horrible. On December 11th, 2024, Urfan and Beinash were found guilty of murdering Sara, and they were sentenced to life imprisonment. Urfan had a minimum of 40 years, and Beinash has a minimum of 33 years. Urfan's brother got 16 years, not for murder, but he was found guilty for causing or allowing the death of a child.
Okay. How many years did he get?
16.
16. All right.
Right. On January 3rd of 2025, so very recently, like fucking, I don't know.
Last week?
8 days ago? Yeah. Urfan was jumped by two of his cellies, and they slit his throat with a tuna can lid.
Holy shit.
But he sustained non-life-threatening injuries.
Oh my God.
So he's okay, but they fucking don't like him there.
Oh my God.
And meanwhile, the rest of the world over here is real upset that the system failed Sara,
Yeah.
and that no one removed her from the home, especially because like the school and everybody else was fucking
Saw signs.
aware.
Yeah.
So that's where the story is at right now, is like a huge push and drive for better like childcare social services. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Ugh.
Yeah, so sad. You know what's interesting though is that, and maybe I didn't dig deep enough, but we don't really know what happened to Sara. Like, I want to know based off, like, what was the prosecution's events of that night?
Right.
You know, like, and maybe I could have dug for, like, court cases or something, but I'm only thinking about it right now that I've told it. He just says he throttled her and, like, hit her with a cricket bat. But, like,
Yeah.
does that match what they see? Like, is that what happened?
Right.
Why? Why did he get mad at her? Like, I want to know the whole story.
But they'll never say that part.
I know.
No one
I
will
know.
ever know what.
But
and
there's people in that house that know.
there's people in that house that know, but at the same time, there's probably not a thing that happened. You know, like, it's not like she, I don't know, spilled yogurt or something and then it caused that.
No. I don't think like it certainly doesn't justify it.
Yeah.
I'm just curious what triggered that event for that day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, was it spilled yogurt and he lost his fucking mind?
Yeah.
Or was it she was a feisty kid and they just always went head to head or whatever? I don't know. I have
I would
no
hope
idea.
that she still has that much feist in her after
Yeah,
being abused
yeah.
for that long, you know?
But like there was a house of like fucking, I don't know, 8 other people.
Yeah.
I want to know what they saw.
Yeah.
And maybe it did come out. Maybe there was like witness testimony, but whatever. Either which way, not fucking good. Not a good
No.
look. And this little girl was so fucking beautiful and adorable. Not that like
So
beauties or
cute.
look matter, but like Jesus, what a monster.
Yeah, but what a waste of a whole life. It's
I know.
so sad.
I know. Oh my God. And then those other children that witnessed that?
Yeah, they're fucked up now.
No way, you're not, right?
Yeah.
And now they're in Pakistan. These kids lived in London. Like, what the fuck? Could you imagine living in London your whole life and then, like, now
All
we're
of a
going to
sudden-
grandpa's house in Pakistan. You don't know where that is. You've never been there. Maybe they have. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, like, wow, wild. What a trip. It'd be like taking me to Scotland and I'd be like, I don't know anybody here. Like, we are generations out, my friend.
Why do we have to live here? We are generations out, my friend.
Like, my dad's like, we tie back to Welsh. I'm like, I don't even know any of that. Like,
I don't know
okay.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh, my God. Anyway, so that's my story
well, that's
for now.
fucking intense.
Did you uncover anything else?
No,
that I
no, I
missed?
hadn't gotten that much
Didn't deep-
detail.
yeah.
That was the one thing that had caught me on it, and why I started reading it was the hyoid bone.
Ugh.
And that it was
Who's doing
fractured.
that?
Fractured, but not the cause of death, which is like, that's a
That's a torture.
death like
Yeah, she survived it.
that's horrifying.
That's torture.
Yeah,
I'm
literally.
sure, in my mind, I'm thinking he tortured her by choking her and trying
I think you're
to
probably right
give her
with like,
breath.
the
Yeah.
belt and yanking. Because I
Like a
doubt
dog.
he's like rigging up a hanging
No, I don't think so
situation in
either.
his house, you
yeah,
know?
that'd
But
be really extra.
yeah.
But who knows, man?
But
who
maybe.
knows?
Yeah.
Every
God.
dad knows how to work a belt, though. That's one thing I know.
That's for
Hey.
that's for certain.
Anyway, if you guys want to check out pictures pertaining to my case, you should go to our social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, X is what I meant to say, and what you heard me say. We'll be on
come for us.
TikTok until January 20th, evidently.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do though. Didn't they say it was just like not gonna update, but the app will still be there?
I have no fucking idea.
So we'll just have the old
I don't
fucking
know.
filters.
Fucking people are like, we just go buy it. I'm like, all right, whatever. Fucking Bill Murray. I don't know who it
Bill
is.
Murray?
No, don't get your news from here.
I hope Bill Murray buys TikTok.
Oh, that'd be the best. Bill Murray, where you at? Anyway, yeah, come support us on Patreon also. For as little as $1 extra a month, you can get access to 1 extra episode a month and plus access to all of our back episodes that we've been recording for a bajillion years. So I think we're at like, I don't know, 60 something. Who knows?
Yep.
And there's different tiers there. For $10, you get access to behind the scenes video footage of what the fuck we're doing in here, which sometimes is exciting and silly and sometimes it's, God, to be
Sometimes
the
it's a
hardest thing
mess.
to ever watch. I cannot imagine.
Sometimes you might just want the edited version.
Yeah, yeah. But with the $10, you get access to all of that. So, hey,
Yeah.
come support your favorite podcasters so we can do some shit with this pod now that we're trying to get our lives together.
Yes.
Sort of.
We're going to get all caught up again on Patreon.
Look
You
at
saw,
us.
We're trying.
I feel like we've been saying that for at least a year.
At least.
But we are trying,
It's been
and
more
that's
like
what matters.
9 months. But
Like April?
yeah.
Anyway, we love you guys, and thank you so much for the support as always. And stay safe out there, and don't fuck around because you might find out.
Good advice. Bye.
Bye.